Space, the final frontier, a canvas for infinite possibilities, boundless imagination and, mining rocks. Bethesda's Starfield promised to take us to the stars, but as a writer, I found myself bored by its uninspired and frankly uninteresting writing. So today, let's dive into why Starfield's story feels so lackluster and what we can learn from its missteps. A great story grabs you from the first moment. Think of the iconic War Never Changes intro in Fallout, or the much memed on Escape from Helgen in Skyrim. These moments establish tone, stakes, and intrigue. But Starfield, it starts with mining. Not even a dramatic mining accident, just digging around until you touch a shiny rock and faint. Then the game introduces Constellation, a group dedicated to space exploration. They invite you to join after 5 minutes of vaguely polite conversation. No conflict, no personal stakes. It's like someone handing you a job flyer in a parking lot. As writers, we know a strong hook isn't just about action, it's about mystery or urgency. Why should I care about this world or my place in it? Starfield fails to answer this question, and as a result, the opening falls flat. Imagine how it would have been had they made it into something like the mine is about to collapse, but the player knows that the artifact is important, so they dash back in to grab it, and then the artifact saves the player's life. It's not perfect, but it's already a better setup than the one they came up with. Let's talk about characters. In Starfield, the members of Constellation, your supposed core allies, feel like stock archetypes. There's the noble leader, the eccentric scientist, and the generic adventurer. They are not poorly written, they are barely written. Take Sarah Morgan. She is framed as a wise, capable leader, but her dialogue is so stiff and expository that she never feels human. Compare that to Varric from Dragon Age or Garrus from Mass Effect. Those characters come alive because they have quirks, flaws, and a sense of humor. And it's not just the major characters. NPCs across the galaxy suffer from dialogue that's either overly formal or painfully bland. Conversations feel more like reading an instructions manual than talking to another person. As writers, this reminds us that dialogue isn't just about relaying information, it's about creating a voice for each character, making them memorable and relatable. Starfield's characters feel like placeholders, not people. World building is where Bethesda usually shines. From the war-torn streets of the Fallout universe to the Elder Scrolls Tamriel, their worlds feel alive. But in Starfield, the universe feels hollow. Most of the planets are barren, with procedurally generated content that screams, "We didn't have time to make this meaningful." You land on yet another rock with copy-pasted outposts and zero cultural identity. I wonder where did all those unique side quests that used to reward the player with unique equipment in Skyrim go? Why don't we have them anymore? Even cities like New Atlantis, which should be brimming with interesting characters, feels bland. The factions lack depth, the lore is forgettable, and there's no sense of wonder. In a game that is about exploring the stars, it feels smaller than Skyrim. World building isn't just geography or the joy of space travel. It's the stories behind the places you go. It's the religious tension in the Elder Scrolls, or the moral grey areas of the Fallout factions. In Starfield, we are left with alien planets that consume all your FPS and aren't even that good looking. The main plot of Starfield revolves around collecting mysterious artifacts that might reveal something about the human potential. Does that sound thrilling to you? Yeah, not really. The story hits all the predictable beats. You gather the pieces, face a cookie-cutter antagonist, and get a twist that you saw coming hours ago. It's not just predictable, it's uninspired. Great stories thrive on surprises or deep emotional stakes. Even a linear story like Half-Life 2 keeps you engaged by layering personal connections, like the bond with Alex, over its larger narrative. In Starfield, there is no emotional weight. The stakes feel abstract, the twists feel recycled, and the end result is a story that you forget as soon as it's over. Let's talk about mods. Bethesda games have always thrived because of their modding community, from total overhauls to meme-worthy additions like Thomas the Tank Engine Dragons. Mods breathe new life into these games. But in Starfield, mods feel less like enhancements and more like bandages. Players are relying on mods to fix glaring issues, better UI, improved visuals, expanded dialogue options, things that should have been polished at launch. Mods are better when they improve, not fix. They should extend a game's lifespan by adding creativity, not compensating for what's missing. When a studio starts depending on its community to fill in the gaps, it undermines the player's trust in the core experience of the product. So, what can we learn from Starfield's writing struggles? In my opinion, these are the 3 key takeaways. Number 1. Start with a bang. Your opening sets the tone, make it engaging and unforgettable. Number 2. Invest in your characters. Flesh out their personalities, flaws, and motivations. Characters drive emotional engagement. The Witcher, for example, is a story where characters are done right. Number 3. Build meaningful worlds. World building is more than just where the story takes place. It's culture, conflict, and mystery. Bethesda has created some of the most beloved games in history, but with Starfield, they've missed the mark on storytelling. As writers, let's take this as a lesson. Even the grandest settings means nothing without a strong narrative behind them. Starfield is a game with endless potential, squandered by uninspired writing. But it's also a reminder that storytelling is a craft we can refine by learning from what works and what doesn't. So, is the story bad? Well, I'll let you come up with your own conclusion. But let's just say that I hope Elder Scrolls 6 does a way better job than Starfield did. So here's to aiming higher, because when it comes to storytelling, the stars are not even the limit. So much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe for more storytelling analysis.